The days that followed the oracle's warning were restless ones. Dust still haunted the air, clinging to skin and cloth, and the whispers grew bolder. Obioma no longer heard them. Only at dawn they followed her into the market, into the silence of her compound, even into her dreams. Nneka watched her mother closely, sensing that something unspoken weighed upon her. But Obioma kept her silence. How could she tell her daughter that the past she thought buried was clawing its way back through the Harmattan winds? One night, the whispers shifted. They were no longer only sounds in the wind, they were footsteps. It was late. The moon struggled to pierce the haze of dust, casting the compound in a faint red glow. Obioma was drawing water from the clay pot when she heard it, the crunch of feet across the dry earth. She froze. "Who goes there?" she called, her voice trembling. No answer. Only the wind. Then, out of the haze, a figure appeared. Her heart lurched. The face was older, leaner, scarred by time, but it was him. Ikin. The boy who had promised to marry her, the boy who vanished before she was given to another. His eyes glowed with a strange mix of sorrow and longing, and though she willed herself to run, her feet would not move. "Obioma," he said, his voice low but clear. "Did you think the earth could hold me forever?" The calabash slipped from her hands and shattered. She wanted to scream, but the sound caught in her throat. You are dead. They told me you were dead." Ikin stepped closer, the harmattan dust swirling around him like a second skin. "Dead," he repeated, almost bitterly. "I was forgotten. Betrayed. Buried in silence." His gaze cut into her, sharp as a blade. "But the wind remembers." Obioma staggered back, her heart racing. She wanted to deny it, to tell herself it was a trick of the storm. But Nneka stirred inside the hut, stepping out with sleepy eyes that widened when she saw the man standing there. "Mama, who is that?" the girl whispered. The night thickened with silence. Obioma's past and present had collided, and the harmattan had chosen this moment to bare its teeth. The night after Ikin's return was sleepless for Obioma. She sat by the smoldering hearth, staring at the flicker of dying flames, her heart pounding with questions. How could a man thought dead stand before her? And why now, after 15 long years, had the harmattan carried him back? By morning, word had already spread. Villagers whispered of the stranger who came with the dust, of the man who looked like one buried in memory. Some said he was a spirit wearing flesh, others that he was an omen sent to punish the village. Children followed him from a distance, throwing pebbles and fleeing whenever he turned. Obioma tried to avoid him, but the harmattan left her no peace. On the third day, she found him beneath the baobab tree, the very tree that had once sheltered their youthful laughter. His back rested against its roots, his eyes distant, as though searching for a time that no longer existed. "You should not be here," she whispered, her voice breaking. Ikin looked up, a bitter smile tugging at his lips. "And yet, here I am. Brought back not by choice, but by truth." Obioma's hands trembled. "Tell me, what truth?" For a long moment, he was silent, his gaze fixed on the dust dancing in the wind. Then, slowly, he spoke. "They lied to you, Obioma. I did not vanish into the forest. I was betrayed by the very men of this village. My death was not an accident. It was chosen." Her breath caught. "Betrayed? By whom?" His eyes darkened. "By those who could not stand the thought of us together. They buried me beneath the soil near the river, without honor, without prayer. But the earth cannot silence injustice forever. The harmattan remembers what men tried to hide." Obioma staggered back, her chest tightening with every word. She wanted to deny it, but deep in her soul, she had always sensed there was more to his disappearance than the simple story told to her. "You carried their blood," Ikin continued, his voice low. "You married into the very family that sealed my fate. And now, the wind demands a reckoning. Obioma's knees weakened, and she sank to the ground. Neko's voice echoed in her memory, a man's voice, calling you. The past was no longer a shadow. It was flesh and bone, standing before her, demanding that she face it. And for the first time in years, Obioma wept, not for herself, but for the truth she had spent her life trying to forget. Would you like me to carry the tension into part 3? If so, comment part 3, follow me, subscribe, share and give this video a thumbs up.